Hello, welcome to Tarot Concertina. Today we will be reading for the Scorpio collective for the month of July. And here we have the Death card from the 1960s deck, the Linweave Tarot. And the Death Tarot card is associated with Scorpio and transformation. First, I'll start with a few channeled messages, then we'll look at love and relationships, and then we'll move to career. There will be timestamps in the description box if you just want to jump to one of those categories. So if you're only interested in relationships or only career, you can jump to those. And keep in mind, those two categories, the readings might not be for the same person. They could be, but use your discretion. And as always, please only take what resonates for you personally and leave what does not on the table for another viewer. And if you like this video, please take a second to like, subscribe, and comment. Anything helps the channel grow. And if you would like to book a personal reading, the link is in the description box to my website, tarotconcertina.com. So for my fellow Scorpios, while I was trying to do a meditation and get some channeled messages, I felt a very mysterious energy, and I thought, oh, that's appropriate. I've never attempted to tap in and look at Scorpio energy from a omniscient third-party perspective, so that was fascinating. You do feel very mysterious and moody. What a revelation, right? So the first thing I saw while meditating was there was a sensation of being in the passenger seat of a car on a long road trip at nighttime, and it was very dark, and I just saw flickering lights passing by as if you're driving by one of those gates and you just see little beams of light shoot through. So maybe you're going on a road trip, or you just feel like you're on a long, mysterious, dark journey. It was very pitch dark. And then I heard the phrase, "How do I make this work?" So I realized that's pretty broad. That could be about anything. But maybe you're wondering how to make something work in your life. And it's probably related to either relationships or career. And I got the feeling of just starting something new. So if you're new at something and you're trying to figure out how to make something work, maybe this reading will offer some insight, hopefully. And then I just got the mood of, again, dark, moody, mysterious movies. You might be into horror films as well. And I kind of felt like I was in a David Lynch film of some kind when I was doing the meditation. Like you can't quite see what's in front of you because it's so dark in there, kind of feeling your way around, that sort of sensation. Okay, now we're going to move into the love portion of the reading. So with this love portion of the reading, it could be about relationships of any kind. So it's not necessarily a romantic relationship, but it could be. It's really meant to be any close relationship you have. Interesting. My phone just paused itself, and I did not touch it, so maybe there's another presence here with us. That's so weird. That's never happened to me. So maybe that's a little caution, a warning, like, do you want to continue? Should you pause? That creeped me out a little bit. All right, let's see. It's almost like an an invisible finger touched my phone and made it pause. Okay, what does the Scorpio collective need to know about relationships in July? Seven of Pentacles, Four of Cups reversed, Page of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, the Fool reversed, Two of Wands. So right away, I'm kind of drawn to the faces we have here. They're all kind of staring in an emptied, like there's kind of a dead feeling in the eyes, lost in thought, just staring into space. Like you might be very meditative in July, or you're a very deep focused thinker that you kind of block out the rest of the world. So I'm drawn to the Fool card in reverse here, since it is the only major arcana. It could be that you're eager to take a leap in a new direction, but something's stopping you. And on the flip side, it can mean you are unwilling to take a risk at this time. The Seven of Pentacles means you may have been waiting a long time, waiting to have your whatever energy you put into growing something come to fruition. There's a sense of dissatisfaction here, especially when it's next to the Four of Cups. There's a sense of impatience. This is kind of a card of waiting, and then we have this offer being made, or an idea that strikes you that you've been ignoring, and now you're ready to explore that idea or offer. And you might be willing to make a small investment. Page of Pentacles is the very beginning of investing something either energetic or actually material into a new relationship or project. But since we are looking at relationships, I'm assuming it's a relationship. I gotta say, you don't seem excited about it. You're just considering it. And you're very thoughtful about it. This is also an academic card. You might be distracted by your own intellectual pursuits. It looks like you have long-term goals you're also trying to achieve. And you might be unwilling to leap into a new relationship because you're focused elsewhere. The Knight of Rods or Wands is a card about following your passions. He's sometimes seen as kind of the bachelor, the player energy. He might be coming in, or you might associate yourself with the Knight of Wands. Also, genders can be reversed, of course. There's no real gender in tarot, just energies. With the Fool in reverse, it could be foolishness next to the Knight of Wands, going after something that fires you up or makes you feel passionate in a way without thinking too much about it. But this is a very thoughtful card. It's also about living in the moment and planning for the future. This is interesting. I'm going to get some clarifying cards with another tarot deck. Okay, we have the Knight of Wands again, but in reverse, the Hierophant. It's so interesting when the same card comes out, but in reverse. So You might be conflicted. There might be a push and pull between pursuing something, it pursuing you, or resisting, like putting on the brakes because you're not sure about it. There might be this dance between you and another person. You're like kind of feeling each other out and letting one person approach and the other retreats, and then the other person approaches and you retreat. I'm getting that sort of feeling. The Hierophant talks about long-term commitment sometimes, or a higher calling, listening to your higher self in regards to making a decision. A couple cards just fell on the floor. I'm going to pick them up. Okay, they are the Five of Swords and Two of Cups. So it looks like some conflict or self-deception concerning a relationship. Two of Cups usually represents a romantic relationship. So it looks like I'm not sure if you should pursue something because you're thinking about whether or not it's a higher level commitment. You might be talking yourself into or out of a relationship. Maybe one of you is in it for the long run. One of you just wants more of a fling or a short-term relationship. I am getting a word of caution here that it might be wise to reevaluate your own thinking, because if one of you wants something more significant and a bigger commitment, and you know the other person does not want that or doesn't seem to want that level of a relationship yet, you might be convincing yourself like, oh, I can change their mind. I can pull them into being my significant other. I'll show them there's more to it and they'll come around sort of energy. In my experience, that does not work out. You kind of have to be on the same page from the beginning, in my experience, because then it'll be a couple years down the road and you realize, oh, they're still only looking for something casual and I'm here building a whole world around this person. So there's some kind of self-deception around this situation. Make sure you're on the same page in terms of commitment. One of you might be short-term minded and one of you might be long-term commitment minded. Just don't set yourself up for future heartbreak. Okay, I want more Oracle card insight. Fulfillment. Yeah, I think you should be asking yourself what brings you fulfillment. Reverse the energies as it fits, but you or them seem to be looking for a long-term, fulfilling, more substantial relationship. And Scorpio is known for the deep, long-lasting relationships, not necessarily the short-term ones. Discrimination. So use your discriminating abilities to figure out if this is the correct scenario for you. And lust. Yeah, I was seeing that as a factor here with the two Knight of Wands. You seem very magnetized, very drawn to someone or a situation, and you're wondering if it's the best thing to do. You're kind of trying to rationalize doing it. Maybe it's something you need to get out of your system, but just do be aware there's seems to be conflict around commitment. or conflict around or disagreement around emotional intimacy. It might just be physical intimacy for somebody. Just if you have these placements or if they mean something to you, we have Saturn in Sagittarius, Venus in Virgo, and Venus in Aries. Okay, I'm just gonna get 3 tarot cards of advice to wrap up the love or relationship portion of the reading. Got a jumping card, the King of Wands. A little more advanced than the Knight of Wands. Also a visionary, fiery, passionate, and associated with Leo. The Star, it ties into that visionary feeling, going after a long-term goal again. And then I would just really question, is this person or whoever you're thinking about getting involved with a long-term potential? Does that bother you if it's not? And then going from there. One more card. Okay, so word of caution, 3 of Swords came out, which has to do with pain in the heart, heartbreak, and also fear of rejection. So it seems like the advice is be careful. You have a sensitive heart space. You might be lying to yourself, telling yourself that it won't bother you if you aren't, if the long-term relationship goals aren't reciprocated, but I think it looks like it actually would end up hurting you in the heart space in the long run. So just be wary of that. You seem like a very deep thinker, and I think you'll be able to figure this out on your own. Sometimes Scorpios have a tendency to sacrifice their own feelings and their own heart because they feel so deeply and strongly, they're willing to risk the hurt and rejection. I would just exercise caution around that, but it's up to you. You seem to be doing a lot of heavy thinking and contemplation in July. So that's all I have for you for the relationship portion of the July reading, and then we will look at career in just a moment. Okay, let's take a look at career for Scorpio in July. I paused the video to shuffle many times, so these are thoroughly shuffled already. The World in reverse, 9 of Cups in reverse, King of Pentacles in reverse, 2 of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, Hanged Man. It's always interesting to start a reading off with the World in reverse because I think of it as one door has closed, a cycle has completed, and now in reverse it might be reopening again. Or there's something here that wasn't quite complete that you thought was over, might be circling back around. There might be some loose ends to tie up. Looks like you're juggling how to do that here with clarifying with the 2 of Pentacles. So you might have more than one occupation. You might have multiple things that you do for income, or just you have many spinning plates, it looks like. And after a sense of disappointment, there might have been like a whole year that went by, maybe 2 years that went by where you felt dissatisfied with some aspect of your career. It was not bringing you the happiness you desire, or your wish wasn't granted in some way. But with the Ace of Cups here, it looks like there's a new opportunity being presented that's better than what you even imagined it would be. I don't usually say dramatic, corny things like that, so it must mean something. Let's hope so. So after a long period, well, a couple years of disappointment, let's just call it that, we have a new opportunity coming in. So maybe what you had given up on is now coming back around. And there might be some wondering like, oh, can I even fit this in? And you have to think about that for a while. So you're going to pause and reflect on this opportunity that's coming in. You're also either involved with, or this is an aspect of your personality or the energies around you. It looks like there's some stubbornness here. You might have been waiting on this to come through and looking at it through a negative perspective and saying like, oh, I really needed this for the Pentacles is can be associated with finances and money. Like, I'm not making enough income with this. It's also kind of resisting. He's a stubborn man when he's in reverse. I'm sorry if you hear a recycling truck in the background. Maybe something's being recycled for you in your life. So like the trash recycling truck that you can probably hear in the background, you might be making advances and then stopping and then accelerating and then stopping to do something again and again. It's like a lot of stopping and starting energy. Do you hear those squealing brakes? I'm gonna get some clarifying cards, but I'm excited for you. It looks like a new opportunity is coming in, and you've been waiting a long time for that. Something about it gives you pause, though. I wonder why. It might be associated with this stubborn energy. Or the offer is not very lucrative. Okay, get some clarifying tarot cards. Page of Cups. The first impression with that is there might be an apology coming in. The Seven of Wands in reverse. Letting our guard down, not having to compete anymore, not having to prove ourselves anymore. The Magician, manifesting something, bringing an idea into life. Let's get one more. Empress. So creating something beautiful. It's a very creative, artistic card and also associated with nature. She's like the Earth Mother. So it's this really lovely energy of manifesting this earthly beauty into the world. For some of you, I'm getting a message that you might not have been consciously aware of it, but you were manifesting this new opportunity all along. Like, you are the magician who creates things. It's not that you had to wait on somebody else to give you an opportunity. I don't know where that's coming from, but you actually can create your own opportunities. You're the Empress. I'm going to get some oracle cards. This fell on the floor, so it might be no good, but loss came out. It's that kind of mysterious, creepy horror film vibe I was getting during the meditation before I started the video. It looks like a scary movie of some kind, or I'm reminded of like a Victorian era setting. I think it's a past card. You felt like you lost something you desired in the past. Order, Moon in Virgo, and this is Saturn in Pisces. Order. So the message I'm getting with this is there was a system in place that created order, but it kind of excluded you somehow. Like it was nothing personal is the message I'm getting. That was just the way it was structured. Concentration. Saturn in Gemini. So your occupation might require you to concentrate and block out distractions. There's a lot of, this is so strange, this card. These little swords going after the closed lips. It's kind of like blocking out gossip, tuning out misinformation. And a spider web with a star. Star in tarot in some decks is depicted as like a constellation, and it's like a spider web. I'm not sure why I'm remembering that right now. Maybe it's this long-term goal you have, but there's an order to it, because this spider's web is very orderly if you think about it. And also spider web is a metaphor for, there's one explanation of how we view time. It all exists in this web, but we're only aware of like where, if we're the spider, we're only aware of where we are in the web at that moment. So it's saying there's something existing in the order of things that might not be in your present time that you're aware of, but you can kind of feel the vibrations of the web moving. This is getting very quantum level that I do not pretend to understand fully, but I just thought that was an interesting concept. Like you might have been sensing the waves of a potential for a new opportunity here, but you're not on that spot in the web yet, or you haven't been, and you might be arriving there in July. So I'm excited. I hope this is for me as a Scorpio, but I hope it's for you too. Something that we've longed for a while. We felt we were unfairly possibly taken out of because of some kind of order or structure. It's now coming back around, maybe in an even better way. You're kind of suspended in this web for some reason. There might be a little hitch in the opportunity. There might be like one detail that gives you pause. I want more information on this offer because I'm very curious. Okay, King of Pentacles again. With the reversal and the upright. The Lovers. So you seem to be cosmically tied to this opportunity. Like it's yours. There's a bond here. Like it's not going anywhere, but it might be just out of reach or something. And King of Swords. So we have two kings here. One's very practical. Well, they're both practical. One's more material, one's more about thought. This kind of represents air signs, this represents earth signs. Between them is the Lovers, which could also be a choice. So there could be two figures making a choice about you. They're taking their time though. It's gonna be a moment before this happens. This might be beyond the scope of July. Looks like a decision is being made, a choice is being made. That involves you, or else we wouldn't be seeing it. Maybe they're the ones taking pause to reflect on choosing you or assessing the situation in some kind of in some way. Wow, I'm losing my words. Okay. Let me know if this resonates with you. It looks like there might be a really great opportunity that's emotionally fulfilling coming in for you. So I really hope that's true. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear any feedback, really. Hopefully good feedback. And that is your reading. Thank you so much for being here. If you liked this reading, again, please subscribe to my channel and consider exploring my website, tarotconcertina.com. I have a lot of options there if you'd like to book a personal reading. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your July, and I will see you at the next reading. Take care.